Hi, I'm Rob, and in this Gems of War video I'm going to explain how Journey works and show you my starting team. In Journey, you journey to a new kingdom, battling to collect miles along the way. Now the way this works is you'll have two options. You want to collect miles as much as you can, so basically one fight will be easier and one fight will be a bit harder, but will give you more miles if you manage to complete it. Your sigils on the right hand side, that's how many sigils you have or battles remaining, and how many miles you travelled is on the left hand side. Now what will happen is, once you can complete the miles, that gets added to your total, and after you've completed 4 battles, the path will split into 3 options. 2 standard battles and 1 boss battle, which rewards more miles but is also more difficult. It always contains a mythic troop, so do bear that in mind if you're a newer player. Now some battles give bonus rewards, such as gold, souls, glory or skill points for your attack, magic, life and so on. And they will appear over here if you have any of those, so keep a lookout for those at the same time. You can tell which kind of troop you're about to fight by their icon. A bow and arrow, this should be elves I presume. Yep, elves and knights. And this one here I presume is going to be knights of some sort. Indeed it is. So that gives you a clue of the kind of enemy you're going to be fighting at the same time. And your journey miles now are the thing that is really important. You're going to want to fight, as I said, the higher one if you can. The more miles you do, the better the rewards and the higher you appear on the leaderboards if you're worried about that sort of thing. But what's important here is how fast you actually complete the game at the same time. I'll just explain it as best I can. You lose some miles under certain conditions. You lose 2 miles for each empty allied troop slot at the end of the battle. So if you do a fight and you lose someone, you're going to lose 2 miles off the total that you had. If you lose 2 troops, you're going to lose 4 miles. You also lose 1 mile for each turn past 10 that it takes to win the battle, up to a maximum of 10 miles lost. So, for example, if you take 11 to 20 turns to defeat your enemy, then you will lose 1 to 10 miles for the extra turns taken. But if you take more than 21 turns, then you will only lose a maximum 10 miles. That is the most you can actually lose if you have a really long game. And a turn is an action completed in your move and then your enemy's move. So basically, if you get an extra turn and it loops, that still counts as an extra turn or action. So absolutely do bear that in mind. Now the Journey event troops are really important in this, because one is going to be a Pathfinder. Now in other event modes, like where you get the God Slayers and the Siege Breakers, they give bonus damage. What a Pathfinder does, it gives bonus miles, and this is available from tier 2. Tier 1 gives the typical potion of enchantment you get in other game modes, as well as extra journey sigils, journey troops and so on. But tier 2 is where you pick up Chalcedony. Now this is a really important troop to get, because as you can see you need that 3rd trait at the same time, and that gives you a Pathfinder. Gain 2 to 3 times miles in the journey event based on your ascensions. So if you can get this to mythic level, then you're going to get 3 times the miles that you would normally. This is really handy, and it does damage to an enemy at the same time, which is quite neat. So I've bought this already. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back and send her. It's just about a her. It's technically a her. Just where are you on? There you go. Now this is not very often I would do this, but I do happen to have a major orb of ascension lying around doing nothing, so I'm going to throw it on her to get the maximum amount of miles, and then I'm going to upgrade her to get the Pathfinder trait. There it is. And now let's chuck her up to the maximum level. So she's as good as she can be, basically. Now you're going to need to put her in a team. This is absolutely essential. No good having all that extra pathfinding ability if she's not in the team. Bring up the journey event and fight. I've left a gap here in my team, so we can edit teams, find Chalcedony. There she is. We'll throw in there. Now the way this team I've got here works, we're basing on damage to all. We've got black manacles at the top. You can use another troop if you want that does damage to all. It's really easy to find these kind of troops. All you do is go to your weapons, type in damage to all in the search bar, and that will bring up all the weapons which you are allowed to use for this event. So there's 4 there, like I've got to use, but if you do have black manacles, then that is a really good one to use because it's damage to all and has a 20% chance to devour a random enemy at the same time. Now, other troops wise in this, let's just clear away that. Oops, just pressed completely the wrong button. For the other troops, basically of using 2 of the new ones here. We've got Craghound, deals 51 damage to 2 random enemies and creates 3 evil gargoyle gems. Now, these gems are pretty cool because they're going to inflict negative status effects on the enemy. But you can't actually use the gargoyle gems unless you explode them, so we need someone who's going to destroy or explode gems at the same time. And that's where Zernabog comes into it. Creates 10 brown gems and then explodes just everything basically. It's magic +1, but in my case it's going to be basically exploding pretty much everything, which is going to charge up the team really fast. So basically we've got black manacles doing damage to all with a 20% chance to devour a random enemy and getting a 50% start because we are in Titan class. I'll show the rest of the talents in a moment. And then we got Craghound dishing out some damage as well, inflicting negative status effects on the enemy when this casts, and pretty much hopefully fills up the team straight away again because he conjures a dust storm when his turn begins, which is basically every single turn. This is not create a dust storm at the start of battle, which is a one-off. When it disappears, it's gone. This is a dust storm literally when his turn begins. So as long as he's alive and in the team, we are going to get a dust storm. And Chalcedony is there basically for that Pathfinder trait and bonus damage at the same time. So that's how the team's going to work. The banner for this is going to be +2 brown, +1 purple, -1 yellow. That was before I introduced Chalcedony to the team, so I'm going to double check that and see if I can do better than that. That's better. In fact, that's a lot better. Good. And in Titan class, I am going with the Titan class because I love the 50% start. And this works really well on brown as well. Elementalist class is another really good class to go for on a brown based team. But I like this because I'm going for impact, counter attack, stone circle, really handy, blood and glory. You may use it in PvP, and these other 2 are pretty much useless. There's no point having a dust storm at the start of battle. We've got a dust storm permanently in this team. Rock solid, this means we get a barrier pretty much constantly in this team with the amount of brown we're going to be generating and making. And stone mastery, gain a bonus brown mana from brown gem matches. You can have lightning stroke if that's your preferred play style. Explode a yellow gem on 4 or 5 gem matches, or even bloodthirsty is not a bad shout. With all that brown on the storm constantly, we'll create 4 matches I think quite often, and then the top troop will do extra damage. And then fortitude. So that's how this team's going to work, so let's take it for a spin. Right, battle 1. Basically looking for brown straight away, unless we just get given it, in which case we can just end the battle actually straight away. And remember, the faster you do these battles as well, the more miles you get. You want to do them as quickly as possible. As I explained at the beginning, you do lose miles if you take time to defeat the enemy. So the faster you do it, the better. And the more miles you get, the harder the battle as well. So this battle will be a bit tougher than this one. So if you struggled with this one, then maybe do a lower down one. But all the while you're killing the enemy really fast, really easily, just keep on doing those higher miles. We're ready to go again. No need to do anything else. The power of black manacles is obviously set upon your magic level. The higher level your player, the more you've been playing the game, the higher your magic is bound to be, and therefore you will do more damage. These coins here means we're going to get extra gold from this, I presume. More money is good. So again, just a simple brown collection and we are good to go. I've got a devour there at the same time. Create 10 brown gems and explode 48 gems. This is going to be a board wipe, yeah. And charged up the entire team. Awesome. I do love that troop. That is a really, really handy troop. More journey sigils to help us along the way. Now this one's going to be 75 miles and it's got the skull icon by it and it's level 31. So this contains the mythic now. Now this is what I was explaining earlier. We now got a mythic in here. It's only death. Sounds weird, doesn't it? It's only death. But it is literally only death. It's nothing too much to be worried about this guy. He looks scary, but he only smells strong. So we're not going to worry about him. We're just going to bat him out of the way like an annoying wasp. And just hope that wasp doesn't come back and chase you around the house like a maniac because you made it angry. I could have waited then and got the other troops charged up instead. But what does this do? 57. Let's do this just because we can. Yeah, that worked. I like these journey events. They the last one when Nexus came out, I think it was, the Elemental Kingdom. I really enjoyed it. Oh, these are going to be the serpenty ones, I take it. Yeah. Loads of brown on this team because we're getting that constant dust storm from our troop. Now when you stop killing the enemy in one go with your black manacles, it is worth waiting for someone else to get charged up at the same time if they're not done so already. But because this troop is already ready to go, I can cast this straight away. The second troop down is our mana generator. Explode 10 brown gems and explode 48 gems. This is ludicrous. This is really good. It's going to be a board wipe for me every single time. And that charges up manacles again and the game is done. Victory! 90 miles travelled. Like I said, really important to do these games as quickly as you can. Start losing points if you take too long. Not points, miles. So we'll grab that purple. Now this is where I wouldn't cast black manacles straight away because our second troop down, our mana generator isn't ready yet. We can collect this first and they will be ready now because they're enchanted on the next round. I can concentrate on getting red for our third troop down. And enable us to hopefully do this nice and quick. This is where technically it's not good to get this because this counts as an extra action or turn. Even though the enemy is going to take it as well, you may as well cast manacles. You can then cast this, generate a load of mana for the team. Manacles is up again. We've got all that storm going on all the time. Dust storm every single round. And that was nice and fast still. I may adjust this team later on as things get harder. It's certainly going to be fast enough at first to get the maximum amount of miles. The miles you travel contribute to your progress in the current journey event. Now, like this is worth 30 miles, so we go to this one. So I'll do a couple more battles, but probably wrap the video up real soon because you can see how it's working. But it is always best to grab some mana if it's while it's there sometimes, like here. Like again, where this one is nowhere, my second troop down is nowhere near charged yet. We can actually get them well on their way. Now they're ready, we can cast black manacles first. And casting this troop now will charge up manacles again and just make sure I'm not missing a four match in this somehow, which I'm not, so we'll cast this. Manacles is ready to go again. Wham bam baluda. So comfortably under the threshold for losing miles at the moment. Not even close to it. 30 miles. 840 miles travelled so far. 7 sigils left. Bonus gold from here. Alright, let's try and look for some brown. Don't use green, so don't really need that. I'm just going to cast Manacles, see if I get a lucky devour, which I absolutely did. Look for purple or red. No, don't need red because we're enchanted, they'll be ready next turn anyway. Now this is what I mean about the, actually they're going to probably not last, that's going to kill the 2 of them. So it's not going to become relevant. It will become relevant later on about those gargoyle gems and how you can benefit the use from them yourself by casting our second troop down, the one that explodes all the troops. Now what's the next highest one? 75 miles, level 49. The skull on it again, which means it's a mythic boss, and again it's only death. We're not scared of only death. What do we say to death? Not today. That was in something. I'll just remember what it was. Anybody else know? Oh, well, let's get that, because that's going to be manacles at the same time. We can cast our Earth Tremor now. This is going to be lots of brown for us. Manacles is ready to go again. And we will deal death to death. .225 miles travelled that time. More sigils. And bonus glory from this one. It's got the wings glory icon by it, so this means we get some glory from this. Gonna grab this brown while I can to boost up the rest of the team. Now here's where you can have a bit of fun. You can cast this one first, Black Manacles first, do a certain amount of damage. Now you'd cast Craghound second. It deals damage to 2 random enemies, but creates 3 of the evil gargoyle gems. So when we cast this troop here, we're going to explode the gems as well as take out those gargoyle gems, which is going to inflict negative status effects upon the enemy. Like that. How'd you like that? Now the troops are going to deal damage to 2... No, that one's 2 enemies, so we'll hit them first and finish them off with the Pathfinder. This team's working really nicely at the moment. If you're watching this video and you haven't got some of these troops yet, the common and the common and easy to get ones are in the gold chests. They should pop up really quickly for just a small amount of gold. But the other ones, I'd spend your event keys on them because they're available via the event chests. So I'd spend them. The troops popped up fairly easily. But there's certain troops you can't get. They're only available in the Kingdom Pass, which I've done another video on earlier. So kind of coincides and goes hand in hand with this in a way. So you have to do the Kingdom Pass event at the same time. I've done a video on that as well. So check that out if you're unsure how that works. That's quite enjoyable as well. Right, nothing really for me to gain here colour wise, so shall I do that first? Yeah, why not? Now let's get brown for our exploder troop. Now when I cast Craghound, we'll get those gargoyle gems as well and give the enemy a load of negative status effects. Now we can cast Manacles again. Now 51 damage to 2 random enemies. Finishes them off. Right, so that'll do for this video. I think that's working really, really well at the moment. Collecting the maximum amount of miles. 1,265 miles travelled so far. And oh, I've got to take on this one. There's some goats here that need a fight. I'm going to have a fight with some goats and rabbits. And beetles. Why not? Last one. Lots of mana already, but I'll collect the brown while I can. Get the troop to explode stuff ready to do his thing. See, if red was available, I'd have probably, or another brown was available, I probably would have collected that for our third troop down, because now the enemy's getting harder. This is when it's good to create those 3 gargoyle gems and then explode them with the second troop down. But there's no brown or red there, so can't do it. Let's create a load of gems. Oh, they were good ones. They weren't on us. I didn't pay attention to the type of gargoyle gems that were there then. There was some good ones. We got some good status effects. We're submerged, we have reflect, we have blessed, we have barrier. Lots of things to like. Now let's cast this again, because this is going to charge up manacles and end the game. The rabbit thought he was going to do something there, and it didn't happen. Right, victory! Another 90 miles travelled. Going is good. Got our hiking boots on. We're trekking away like a good one. But there's a video. I've got 6 more sigils to use. What I'm going to probably do is stop the video now and then do some more miles. Use more sigils. See how this team's doing later on. If it starts to struggle or wane or start to lose miles because things taking too long, then I'll look to upgrade the team and post another video of the journey event when things get tougher. But that'll do for now. You can grab your rewards. Lots of stuff here. Vault keys, gem keys, event keys. A portrait of an ugly thing. All good. There's a video. If you found it useful or helpful, it'd be cool if you hit that like and subscribe button. But most of all, thanks for watching. See you again next time. Bye for now.